Hello and welcome to World of Tanks. Today we're going to be looking at the Stug III, which is a German tier 5 tank destroyer. Before we do continue, I know I say this every time, but again, my voice seems to be getting worse and worse in the evening. I've been coughing pretty much all day, trying to clear my throat, so if I do sound a bit odd, I do apologise, because I know I've been in voice chats with Alpha and such, and I'll probably sound incredibly annoying coughing constantly, and I've probably annoyed quite a few people at school today from that. But anyway, moving on, we're looking at the Stug III. And as I said, it is a tier 5 tank destroyer. It's a very, very good one. Again, granted, a game I go in, I could do absolutely rubbishly, but in terms of what I've kind of experienced so far, it seems to be very good. It's obviously the successor to the Hetzer over here, and it has a few improvements. You can see the Hetzer's got 60mm frontal armour, 20mm sides and 8mm rear. So this one's got 80 front, 30 on the rear and side. So the frontal armour's very, very good. If you angle it properly, and you've got people shooting at you, you're going to bounce a lot of shots. That's what I've noticed anyway, provided you're in a game around the same tier. If you're in like a tier 7 or tier 8, no matter what, you're just going to get destroyed. I've noticed even like tier 6, the KV-1S can one-shot this easily. I've been one-shotted on countless occasions, so that is possible again. But anyway, it does decent damage, 100 to 169. It's obviously not great, but for its tier it's pretty nice. And the penetration again is about 113 to 188, as you can see up there, which is pretty good. You're going to penetrate most things, even like the KV-1 at this tier. You're not going to find too much trouble penetrating it. Obviously at range, and if it's angled properly, it's going to be a bit trickier. But this will bounce many shots from the front anyway, so it's pretty good. You can get in with some good warfare. It's also pretty fast. Traverse speed is again pretty good, which seems weird because I've noticed for some reason in game that the actual traverse of the Hetzer's faster, but I don't know. Maybe that's just how it looks like to me. But anyway, we're going to go into a game now and see how we perform. So yes, we are in a tier 6 game, so we're going to have to be slightly careful because we've got 3 KV-1Ss on each side. So again, we are going to have to be slightly cautious to make sure that we don't end up getting away from the rest of the team, because this does need support. I can't just run out there or drive out there even and expect to do anything, because I'm just going to get ripped apart. As again, tank destroyers, they do need support, because if you're surrounded by tanks, you are destroyed, because it's only this tank in particular, most of the German tank destroyers are only designed to have strong frontal armour, because again, they're supposed to be frontal assault vehicles. Generally you're facing your target rather than being surrounded by a target, but we'll see how this goes. So maybe I was wrong, because the traverse speed is pretty quick actually, although I'm sure I remember the Hetzer like doing 360s extremely quickly, but maybe that's just because I haven't really compared them too much. But I'm going to try and stay slightly cautious, because obviously the KV-1Ss can one-shot me, and most likely with ease, especially at close range. I'm not sure about like ranges far away, because again, I haven't had that happen. Again, their guns are inaccurate generally on the KV-1S, so can't really test that theory. But what I'm going to do is follow this pack down here and see where we get to. So we've got a KV-1, and we've got a couple of tank destroyers and mediums. Granted, one of the mediums is a T-28, which again is another matchmaking problem, because you've got 2 tier 4s in each team, so arguably it's balanced in that sense, but they're not going to get any XP or money from this game, because they're not going to be able to do anything, unfortunately. So 8.5 I think is around the corner. We actually did have a false alarm today. Alpha and I like thought 8.5 was coming out, because I think the servers were down for a bit. Maybe it was just due to load of stuff. So we were suddenly thinking, oh no, 8.5 is coming out, we're going to have to get that tonight. But no, that was slightly false. It'd be great if it was, because it's going to bring in a lot of stuff. I'm not really sure, apart from like kind of German lights, but you're going to get the Leopard one, which looks like an excellent medium tank, I think it is. It's got very little armour, but that's only because of the designs at the time, because solid steel kind of became obsolete after like the war and such, because as you know, high explosive anti-tank rounds were introduced, which were effectively high explosives that had good penetration. So you've probably all seen HEATs in here, but you can see they're incredibly good, because they've got good penetration and they do a lot of damage. As you can imagine, it's basically like armor piercing, because armor piercing obviously goes through but doesn't actually explode, it just kind of makes a hole and does a bit of damage to parts of the tank and possibly takes out crew members. But if you think about it, a high explosive that can actually penetrate a tank is going to go through and explode, potentially killing a majority of the crew and doing severe damage to the tank. So you can see why eventually still became obsolete to that point. So either way, I probably will hopefully be able to do a video on that at some point, because it does look like a fun one to do. But again, it's a risky one to play because you've probably got to have like good knowledge of it and how to play it to actually do well. Because someone like me, if I'm just out there in the medium, I'm kind of thinking, well, I can afford a couple of shots here and there, but really every shot's pretty much going to go through. And then there's also this Scout Panther, which is interesting. It's the most ugly looking tank I've seen, but I have actually got a majority of the German light tank line, so I'll probably be getting that at some point. But again, it's going to be interesting. Tried not to cough, but you've probably noticed my voice has been going slightly funny, just because I'm trying to hold it in and it suddenly like goes a bit odd. But hopefully it won't be too bad. Now it looks like, yes, we need to help out at the base, which is probably, I'm guessing, going to be a couple. Yeah, there's going to be like a Hellcat up there. It's just going to rip me apart. The Hellcat is a great tank destroyer. I love it. It's got excellent damage. I've done a couple of games in it today, and you can literally just pop up on a hill, shoot someone, pop back down, go back up, pop up, and they can't see you a majority of the time. I mean, I've had occasions where they've been able to see me and I'm just like, oh, how do you see me? But I think, like, majorly you kind of just have to upgrade like your camouflage abilities and such, just to be able to do that. So I'm taking a big risk here. We're going to go straight around here, and the Hellcat's not going to have any trouble penetrating this thing. It really isn't. My worry is that if someone suddenly turns up there, but there we go, we've reset it. It was just a light trying to capture a base there, so not too much of a threat, but it does make you think where the others. Oh, it's artillery there, just taking blind shots. So there we go, we've taken out that light Crusader even. I was about to say Covenanter. That's a tier 4, so that'd be pretty useless. And there we go. I'm not sure if he's saying thanks, because we kind of stole his kill, or if he's saying thanks because he didn't really look like in a position where he was under particular threat, but there you go. So we haven't actually taken any damage yet. We've only really damaged one person, so I haven't had a particularly prosperous game, but at least we've got some action in, and we're not too stationary for the majority of it. So it's kind of a bit of a stalemate here, because it's kind of like we can either attack or defend at this point, because we're pretty much equal. If we go into attack, it's quite likely that we're going to take a lot of damage. You can see the Jackson and the Hellcat have done a lot of damage there. 3 kills each, that's pretty good. And they've just killed another one of us, so we are now balanced effectively. If we attack, we could get destroyed. If they attack, we could have the advantage. I think often in these stalemate situations, it's the attackers that have the disadvantage. Granted, if they probably sent in a Hellcat, they could probably round us up a bit and do a bit of damage that way, but at the same time it doesn't take much to kill them at close quarters. But hoping this won't be too much of a slow game, because I know occasionally when I've recorded I've had games where we've got into this stalemate position and they've just gone on for hours, but we'll see what we can do anyway. And we're just going to go in and follow these guys, because if we do die, we've got a bit of gameplay to go back onto. So in terms of the server development, we've actually done pretty well. We've done quite a lot. I have got more to upload, possibly tonight, but I may upload it tomorrow now, just so I've got a bit of time to go back into. But see where that goes. It is quite a long video because we did quite a lot. It's talked about a lot of discussion and such, but we will be allowing more people on. The only problem is, of course, is that the server will only be up when I'm kind of like around, because of course I'm not going to be keeping my computer on all day for that matter. I'm just going to see if I can shoot him in the side. I think we missed. That's not too good, is it? Oh yes. Turn your back on us, we can shoot you in the rear. No, he's gone round there, hasn't he? Now in this situation I'm not sure where to go, because if we go this way kind of cramped up against all and can't actually really do anything, but equally if we go that way, it's quite likely that they're just waiting for us, because it's not just going to be them. Although I'm kind of thinking that it could just be them there, but again it's quite a big risk to take. Because it could suddenly turn out that there's heavy down there, which of course wouldn't look too good for us. But either way, I'm going to take a bit of a risk. I haven't actually picked anyone up, which is fine, because I don't really want to put my head around there and then suddenly turn out that there's going to be 10 people around there. Because I'm just going to get completely owned. They'll take up my tracks and pretty much own me in every single way. So that's a T-49. Can probably rip him apart pretty easy. He's got no armor, but he is quite a big threat. So taking out T-49, that's a good kill there. Probably could see me, of course, but I think he was aiming for that medium, which he was failing to penetrate by the looks of it. See, he was on 96% health the last time I looked. But we do know there's more around there, which is surprising, because from that like little escapade they kind of expect more to pop out and help him, but they obviously didn't for whatever reason. But this isn't looking good for us, because we're balanced and we've got 3 big guns there, effectively. By big guns I mean that they've got 9 kills between them, apart from the Jagdpanzer, but again that's always a threat. And we've got 1 KV-1S with a kill, which potentially should be quite a big one to actually do damage, but obviously hasn't succeeded in that. And we've got me with 1 kill, so it's not looking too good, but at the same time, I mean, what can we do? I mean, our heavies are just camping on a base, which I suppose we do need defenders, but at the same time, the heavies are potentially supposed to be out there, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm just going to go for it. And if we do get killed, oh well, but we know they're around here somewhere. I'm doing a risky move here because they could potentially be right up there, which they are, rather stupidly. There you go, we've got both of them up there. They've got no arty, luckily. So I've now scouted them out, fortunately. I'm surprised that one went through, actually, because the Cromwell doesn't have a particularly big gun, and yet he just went through my armor pretty nicely, but it looked like he clipped me at quite a good place, so again, there's all sorts of reasons how penetration works in this game. I'm just gonna go in, but we got killed. I'm honestly not sure how, because the Cromwell's gun isn't great. It's okay, of course, but yeah, he did pretty well to get through my armor there. But anyway, I've just been called a Stug idiot. But either way, there we go. We've got a bit of gameplay there. I'm probably going to finish at this point because there's not too much to do, and this is just going to be such a slow game because no one is doing anything. We've just got heavies lounging about the base. They're just about to get owned by the American TD, so they're not going to add much value. And he's trying to retreat as well, which isn't too good. In fact, I'm just going to switch over there. Yeah, that KV-1S doesn't stand a chance. He's probably not going to hit them as well, because with that, he's got quite a big aiming time. He's going to be lucky to hit someone. And yeah, they're just playing with him, really. That he's not going to do anything. And again, if he can't one-shot them, okay. He just killed them by... He just killed himself effectively. We've got a chance here, but that Hellcat is going to go right through, or potentially should, but obviously didn't at that place there, but he was shooting him at quite a bad angle. Potentially we could still win this, so I'm just going to keep on going just so you see a bit more gameplay. I don't know what he's doing there. He's just suddenly turning around. He's looking at his friend over there. I mean, he should just go in. This KV-1S, yeah, he's going for it. He's going in. It's the right thing to do because the medium's potentially dead anyway. One more shot and he's dead. And the KV-1S obviously now has to reload. He doesn't really stand too much of a chance because that's going to take a while. The Hellcat's just ripping into him. And the Cromwell killed the T-34. Yeah, this KV-1 has just died. Well, hasn't yet, but he will do just in a second. I'm kind of betting the Cromwell's wanting to kill him. He wants to get Top Gun him, and I think the Hellcat's going to let him get that because he's kind of backed up. Oh, okay, maybe not. The thing is, they're scared of him, and he's on 4% health. But yeah, the Cromwell's going for it. He's not going to have a problem. He deserves that Top Gun, to be honest. But there you go. Just we'll wait for this to wrap up. So yeah, there you have it. Wasn't a particularly good game because we lost, obviously, but I didn't do too badly all in all, apart from to get ripped apart by Cromwell, which I wasn't really expecting, but I suppose that is a tier above. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and remember to like and subscribe. See you next time.